This is about drag shows for babies. I don't know. I don't even know. It sounds preposterous, but it's I don't know. Somebody defended it or something. I'm curious. It's got to be something else. I don't know. Let's see what we got here.
Now, one of the venues which recently hosted a cabaret, a drag-style event for parents and young children, has vowed to continue hosting shows despite a growing campaign against them online. Viewers and listeners of GB News will know.
Listen. Okay, I've recently compared the drag shows to a clown. I don't really like, as long as it's not inappropriate, like whatever. I personally am uncomfortable with it, but like at the end of the day, as long as they're not like, anything intense, it doesn't really matter. Some shows can be a little inappropriate. But not all of them have to be, like, whatever. I feel like this is like very much like a very online conversation, and people in the real world aren't really that worried about it. But I don't think that this drag conversation is as like deep as people want it to be. I think it's like a lot of forced outrage. I still think it's like super appropriate if there are inappropriate aspects to it. But if it's just some basically a gay guy in a dress that isn't like inappropriate reading to kids or whatever, I don't really care too much. And I guess if their parents are taking to it, whatever. They're no more sexualized than like a Dua Lipa concert, because that's really what drag shows are doing, is they're like imitating music. We should probably be more outraged about the over-sexualization of music, I guess. That's still weird, but I guess it depends on that part. But
opinion on this matter, I think it's inappropriate for adult entertainment to be performed in front of babies and young children.
Well, dressing children up for the music, I don't think that they're talking about children dressing up. I think they're talking about the show being for like kids are being allowed to attend or something. I just find it weird. So,
but I wanted to get a different perspective on this. So we've invited drag queen Vanity Von Glow onto the show. Tom, thank you very much for joining me.
Hello, nice to be here. This isn't the first conversation about appropriate behaviour that I've had with a man in a collar, so I'm looking forward to.
Interesting. I won't get into that. But what I will ask you,
do you
think it's appropriate for drag acts to be performed in front of children?
Well, first of all, it's important for me to say, because I have made a defence of drag queen story art on this channel and others in recent times, on the basis that drag queen story time in the UK, in the instances that I've seen it, is not a striptease style burlesque show. That's a different
that's obviously wrong.
From the Cabba Baba Rave conversation that's in the news today, which I think is what we're talking about. So I just want to make that clear. They are slightly different.
I wouldn't recognise in what way the difference. So that might be.
Well, a striptease.
Well, yeah, a striptease show is obviously different from just dressing up like a woman. That's like obviously very different. I think that we could all understand that at the very least. That's much worse. So what do I have? Oh, I have Artemis. Okay.
Burlesque show, which is what the Cabba Baba Rave has, the videos that you've seen of people doing the splits and doing rope work and stuff. That's different from although I couldn't think of anything worse than reading to children, but if I were to sit and read books to a kid in an acceptable dress, that's a different type of show, right?
Oh, sure.
I think there's a valid discussion about what's appropriate for young children in a liberal society, but we also have a society where parental discretion is a factor when it comes to whether or not their kids will listen to gangster rap or whether they're allowed to swear in the house or watch 18-rated movies or drink at a family.
I mean, yeah, you can make an argument about stuff like that. I mean, if you have like a particular genre of music that is, well, some people will use it as a calling card to, some people will use it to like admit to crimes or advocate for committing fucking crimes, which is like some things that happen in some different types of music. I mean, there's a conversation there too, and we seem to be disproportionately more offended by this than those things, but maybe the people just gave up.
Family wedding. And I think that for these
you don't know the difference between reading and stripping?
mums,
yeah, based.
who are enjoying a cabaret show that they can take their babies to and have them present, while it's okay to have a conversation about whether or not that's appropriate,
what's a
there's been
cabaret
a quantum
show?
leap to this makes me feel uneasy and it's inappropriate to the language of this is grooming, this is paedophilia, this is child abuse. And that's the part of it that concerns me.
Okay, I'm with you. So parents do have a lot of responsibility. I agree with you on that. Society as a whole also has a bit of responsibility there. But to the question of...
So cabaret is entertainment held in a nightclub or restaurant while the audience eats and drinks. I mean, if that... And as long as the cabaret isn't sexually inappropriate, I don't see why it's a problem to take your baby to it. Like if you're an adult that needs to take your kid, like, you know what I mean? I wonder if this is about shows for babies versus like allowing your kid to go to the show because like you have to go there. Like how my mom forced me to go to American Idol when I was younger because she didn't have anybody to watch me. You know what I mean? I wonder which one we're really talking about because it'd be just weird to have like a baby specific show. But I mean, I guess maybe it's just more about. I guess maybe it's just more about that. So
is this grooming? Is this pedophilia? I think people ask, well, what is the motivation? Why are these?
Well, either way, neither of those are true. Even if you brought, like, it wouldn't be grooming or pedophilia to bring your kid to like a strip show. Well, maybe it would be something. It would be inappropriate for sure. Yeah, it'd be definitely inappropriate. Maybe it would be. I don't know, but I'm trying to think. You know, would be Hooters be pedophilia though, or grooming? I mean, that's fucking explicit as well. I don't know. Okay.
Burlesque style, strip style acts being.
I mean, grooming is like a very intentional, like, yeah, stripping in front of kids is wrong. I don't know if I'd call it grooming or, but maybe it would be called, I don't know, maybe you would call it that. But yeah, I'd say like a strip show is inappropriate at the very least. So
I mean, we could say parents shouldn't take them there, but why are they happening in the first place? Why would the performers want to do that?
Well, careful not to speak on behalf of young mothers, but I'm aware that a lot of the mums attending that Cabba Baba rave are sick of reading the wheels on the bus to their kids. You know, they've been locked up for 2 years because of a pandemic. They were gestating for 9 months. They want to go out and have a drink with their fellow mums during the day when they don't have to hire a babysitter and watch the type of shows they used to watch before they had a baby. So I can understand why a 20 or 30 something mum would enjoy the show and would think this is something that isn't going to have a terrible, long-lasting traumatic effect on a baby who doesn't actually have a clue what it is that they're watching.
Oh, okay. I guess I kind of see what they're saying. They're saying that the show might be a little bit risque, but they're bringing their baby there, and their baby doesn't know what's going on, and it's more about being able to go to a day show so that you don't have to pay for a babysitter, so you can get a little entertainment. And it's not about the babies. It's just about, like, can they be there so that they can babysit them? Not, like, are they there for that show? That's fine. I don't care. Like, yeah, there's a good point there. Like, you know, it's like having an inappropriate show on TV. Your kid just doesn't know dick about shit. Okay. Yeah, sure.
You know, I know some of the performers that are.
That's a better argument. When I'm watching my drag show, I don't want some stupid ass kid there ruining my experience. That's a better argument. Yeah, true. That's why you should ban babies from them, so that I don't have to hear them when I'm at my drag show.
Show, and I'm worried about the hyperbole of suspicion around their intentions. What could they possibly want to do? They're performers. They enjoy performing. You know, I'm sure you would sympathise with this, that there are some people on the progressive left for whom it sticks in their craw to condemn the death threats that J.K. Rowling faces. They just can't bring themselves to condemn those death threats. I don't struggle to condemn death threats, and I condemn the death threats against these performers from people that are calling them paedophiles and groomers. Would you be comfortable condemning that?
Especially since, like, the way that he framed it made it seem like these were shows for babies, but it's just a show that you could take your kid to instead of getting a babysitter. So, like, there is an assignment of intentionality to the performers when the performers are just trying to perform. It's really the parents that you'd have a greater criticism of, no? So, you know.
Type of.
Nobody should receive death threats, absolutely. But the problem I face is that I can't show on this TV show right now, I cannot show any of the footage of the stuff we're talking about because it is deemed inappropriate for this time of the day. I'm literally not legally allowed to show it.
Well, that's because...
However, people are taking babies and toddlers and young children to these shows.
Can you direct us so I can see?
Held to a higher standard.
Shouldn't society be held to that same high standard?
Well, I think it's okay to have the discussion about what is appropriate. You know, I wouldn't do this type of show myself. I don't perform striptease in my show, thank God. You know, I'm a singer, a pianist, a comic.
A pianist?
Strangely enough, here I am defending, to some extent, these types of shows because even though I'm not involved with them, and it's not the type of show I do, I think that there's almost a bad faith suspicion that underpins the concern
that
some people are expressing about it. And that kind of worries me in a more broad societal sense because you know, I've faced down cancel culture mobs myself. I think that cancel culture gives a free pass to righteous mobs, and that's what this has the flavour of for me.
I've campaigned heavily against cancel culture. However, I'd be very cautious of anyone saying what you just said because it sounds like gaslighting. We should always be suspicious of people that want to spend time around young children, most especially when they're half nude and or doing some kind of burlesque act. Of course we should be suspicious. And to not be suspicious, I think, would be negligent of us as adults.
I don't think that she's or he, whatever, they're saying that it's not to be suspicious. I think the argument is more, hey, listen, we have a situation that we should be able to talk about as a society without being disproportionate. I think that's more what she's referring to, or they, whatever. It's not like, because they're just saying like, oh, we should be able to have the conversation, but you're assigning this intentionality that like these people at these shows where these shows aren't for kids. It's just like it's more about can the mothers bring their kids so they don't have to get a babysitter. You're assigning some kind of an intentionality that they're a predator when like that is very disproportionate. And I think that that's fair because realistically, this is more like you'd have more of an issue with the parent, not an issue with the actual person doing the show. More than anything else, right? So I think that's more than what they're talking about.
What is it that you think that, also interesting, because it's a cabaret show. I always am a cabaret artist, part of cabaret working as drag.
I imagine you perform for over 18s.
Yeah, my shows are in bars and clubs and nightclubs. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of weddings, and there's sometimes kids at weddings, but the type of show you do at weddings and coming out and singing Celine Dion, The Power of Love, and everybody cries.
Well, just one last question before we go, because there was a drag act that performed, actually taught sex ed in a school and taught kids that there were 73 genders, and actually sent a kid out for saying, no, there are 2 genders. Do you think that's appropriate?
Well, the 72 genders thing isn't the church I pray at. I mean, in a liberal society, we're all allowed to have our faith systems. My faith, by the way, is Shania Twain and Celine Dion.
Well, thank you. I've got to move on, but Tom, thank you for sharing your perspective today. It's been very helpful. That was drag queen Vanity Von Glow. We reached out to the Vault Festival, the organisers of the drag show. They gave this response to some of the criticisms they've received. Quote, "We are aware of comments on social media directed at Cabba Baba Rave, part of the 2023 Vault Festival programme. The cabaret show is designed for parents with sensory moments for babies and is a fun and welcoming space for parents."
Sarah's designed for parents with sensory moments for babies. What does that mean?
And
what is baby or a... What the hell? I have to look into this. Like, what is this?
With young babies. Vault Festival exists to support live performance and artistic talent and is proud to platform events.
It's a private. It's private, so I can't even look at what's on their Instagram. Okay, hold on.
That are welcoming and accessible for all, with audience safety always as a top priority. We stand against the inexcusable threats of violence and assault and against our programmed artists, our staff, and directed at the LGBTQ+, IA+ community, and are supporting the affected artists.
Okay, I gotta look. I gotta see if I can find like an example of what's going on to see how inappropriate it is. Are these real babies? Videos of babies at drag shows? And Snope says it's true, so there are babies at the drag shows. Lucy TikTok shared a post. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Okay. I'm assuming that this might be what we're referring to. Let's see. Yeah! Oh yeah, it's... I don't know. Seems a little inappropriate to me. Outfit's a little inappropriate. What the fuck is this?
Yes, auntie!
If this is what they're talking about, I'm not comfortable with this. Okay, this is pretty bad. I mean, I don't know. This is I don't think I don't think any of these people are trying to like do anything inappropriate with these kids or anything. I just think this is insane. Listen. This is ridiculous. Listen. I think listen, this seems a little inappropriate to me. To be honest with you, I don't think that the performers are trying to be inappropriate. I think that they're probably just trying to create a show for like their parents so that they can bring their kids so that they don't have to like worry about getting a babysitter or whatever. I just feel like it's too inappropriate. It's like, to me, it's like overcorrecting. It's like, hey, drag people existing is okay, and like the exposure to kids isn't going to ruin their lives. So like, let's do something a little too sexy for kids. That's where I come from. I think it's a little too much. We're at our limit on this. I think it's a little disproportionate. I don't think that anybody's a bad person. It's like one of those things where like progressives, or people do this in general, where progressives are, you're so woke, you're too woke, you know? It's a little too much. Like, I think it could be okay, but this is, you know, seeing them sing Celine Dion or something or read a book is whatever, but this is a while, bro. That move right there. Oh my God. That's a little too much for me.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.